Imagine going to a supermarket to buy a single item, only to walk out with half the store. Something similar happened in 1803 when the U.S. set out to buy New Orleans but ended up with the entire Louisiana territory. But why would France agree to sell such a massive and valuable land? And how did this deal change the course of American history forever? Let's dive into one of the most incredible real estate deals ever. Jefferson was right when he said that honesty is the first chapter of the book Wisdom. It is an excellent quote, but he was probably talking about this deal when he said that. In 1803, Jefferson made one of the boldest decisions in U.S. history by acquiring a vast territory from France. It doubled the size of the United States and changed its future forever. But how and why has this occurred? Let's get to the point. Why the United States wanted to acquire Louisiana from France. The world in 1803. Let's paint the picture first to appreciate what was accomplished in this event. The year was 1803. Beethoven was writing his Third Symphony in Europe, and Britain and France competed to dominate each other. On the opposite side of the ocean was the United States of America, a young giant full of desire. President Thomas Jefferson was in the first of his terms and wanted to increase America's size to the west. However, there was one problem. France dominated an enormous area called Louisiana, which was comprised of the significant shipping station of New Orleans. Also, in the Caribbean, the French faced the Haitian Revolution. People of color, blacks who were enslaved, had now revolted and were fighting for emancipation. The French dreamed of using Haiti as a springboard to dominate more in the American territories. But this was a nightmare for them, and a very expensive one. Napoleon Bonaparte, the ruler of France, was preparing for war in Europe and facing challenges in the Americas. But why would Napoleon sell such a vast territory so cheaply? The answer lies in his struggles, like the Haitian Revolution and his urgent need for funds. These factors laid the groundwork for one of history's most significant land transactions, America's concerns. In the United States, things were not easy there. The Americans were frontier west, and many used the Mississippi River to transport their products. New Orleans was the most crucial trade location since it was at the mouth of the river. However, in 1802, when France transferred Louisiana from Spain, access was denied to the American use of the port. This was a huge problem. The lack of New Orleans made it virtually impossible for farmers and merchants to move their products to the market. President Jefferson realized that something needed to be changed. He was afraid that France might try to seize control of the Mississippi River, not to mention trying to prevent American expansion altogether. Therefore, he dispatched two envoys, James Monroe and Robert Livingston, to France. Their mission? To purchase New Orleans and possibly some adjoining territory. That is, to negotiate concerning acquiring New Orleans and some adjacent piece of land. They had a $10 million budget for their operations, but you can imagine their surprise when they got to the site. Napoleon's unexpected offer. Jefferson did not anticipate anything extraordinary when Monroe and Livingston arrived in Paris in 1803. Diplomatic imperialism had failed for Napoleon in the Americas. The French Revolution in Haiti had sucked the French pockets dry, while Napoleon was planning for the war with Britain. He finally saw it was not worth it and decided to sell the whole of Louisiana. This was a shocking offer. The territory offered for such delightful metropolises as New Orleans was not enough for Napoleon. He was prepared to sell all 828,000 square miles of Louisiana. Monroe and Livingston would not believe their luck. Within a bit of time, they agreed on the deal. On April 30, 1803, the United States had a $15 million contract with France to purchase Louisiana. It cost less than 3 cents an acre. It would double the size of the United States and include land from the Mississippi River to the Rockies. It was an offer that one couldn't resist. Jefferson's dilemma. Meanwhile, President Jefferson was excited at the news in the United States and couldn't help but feel anxious. This was not provided by the Constitution, which was so clear regarding the emperor's rights that it didn't even mention the government would be able to acquire overseas territories. It was a difficult choice for Jefferson because he never wanted to overstep the Constitution in any way. He even thought of changing the Constitution to make it lawful to buy property from them. However, time was an issue, and he was concerned that he would lose out on the business if he didn't close the deal. Ultimately, what Jefferson did was conclude that the acquisition was essential for the good of the nation. Congress approved the treaty, which was made in October 1803. The impact of the Louisiana Purchase. One way of looking at the long conveyance is that the United States manufactured itself out of thin air. Louisiana's purchase was very significant. It gave the Americans control of the Mississippi River and New Orleans and sealed important commercial channels for the Americans. Another advantage of its policy was that it opened substantial new areas for colonization and further exploration. However, organic growth presents its own set of problems as well as opportunities. The United States now had to manage and develop this massive land. Thus, Jefferson ordered an expedition to gather more detailed information about the new land. He selected Meriwether Lewis and William Clark to lead an expedition known as the Corps of Discovery. They were to find, survey, and report the Louisiana Territory and deal with the natives in the region. They embarked in May 1804 and took over 2 years to travel across the country to the Pacific coast and back again. They also gathered geographical data about the area and the animals and inhabitants of the region. Why did France sell Louisiana? France's questions have been asked and answered. The question begs the answer, why did France sell Louisiana? Several factors played a role. Haitian Revolution. Louisiana was no longer a dear colony for France since it lost its most valuable one in the Americas. War with Britain. The capital was required as Napoleon wanted to continue his warfare in Europe. The sale of Louisiana proved to be lucrative immediately. Logistical challenges. Louisiana was extensive and occupied by few people then. It would not have been easy to control and defend it for France. Napoleon once said that he had given the English a rival who would sooner or later bring them low. In selling Louisiana, he saw this as a viable chance for the U.S. to grow, while at the same time emasculating Britain on the American continent. The legacy of the Louisiana Purchase. The Louisiana Purchase has become one of the most famous events in America's history. This led to Manifest Destiny, the expansion of the West. These beliefs that set the United States on a manifest destiny to spread across the continent influenced the nation's history. The Louisiana Purchase also set the profitability premised on economic growth going forward. The new territory was beneficial because it contained good, arable land, richness in natural resources, and virgin land. The Americans started populating the western part of the world, farming, and establishing towns. It marked the start of the period of wealth creation and growth. Nonetheless, it spurred some effects on the buyer as well. When moving from one place to another, they started seizing the Native American land, resulting in friction. The continuation of the expansion also threw some good light on slavery. Would these new territories permit slavery or not? Despite these conversations, they played a role in the Civil War incident. Nevertheless, the Louisiana Purchase has always been considered a brilliant and innovative attempt. It showed that America was ready to go out on a limb and prepared to dream big. It all began with a proposal from Napoleon and a president who dared to act on this proposal. The story of the Louisiana Purchase is a good recap of how one decision defines the future. That is what diplomacy, ambition, and vision can offer to the world with success. It's a story that can still be felt today. If you have fun with this history, don't forget to hit that like button and share your thoughts down below. Don't forget to subscribe and enable the notification button so that you're notified immediately whenever I post such fascinating stories as this one.